Right now, it's our pleasure to be joined by Alen, who's the general manager of Adventure City. Welcome to In the Loop.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. All
right, and we were talking a little bit before the show, and Alen very quickly made us feel bad about the lives that myself and Drew the intern have here, because I'm going to be turning 30 this month, and Drew is, what are you, 25, 26?
I will be turning 26 in a couple months.
And he's in his 7th year of college, and Alen just let us know that you started running your own theme park when you were 27?
Well, that's when we started construction, yes, when I was 27.
Man, that's an awesome story. I want to hear. So let's talk about the park itself a little bit, about what Adventure City is and how it got started.
Okay, well, basically the way it started was my grandmother had a business out here in Anaheim that was a hobby and craft collectible shopping center. And in the 60s, she purchased a Hurlbut train that ran on the property here. So I ran the train for her starting from the age of 12 in the 70s. And after a while, when I got old enough, I purchased the train from her, and I ran it as a business. And then basically, then it kind of grew from there.
Very, very cool. And at what point did it make the transition from sort of this one train and hobby center into Adventure City Family Theme Park?
Right. So basically, I wanted to add some more rides. So I went down and I spoke with some of the city officials, and they talked about, some of the infrastructure changes that would have to be made to make this happen. And so it really wasn't feasible to add just one or two rides. So I kind of went back to the drawing board, and then I talked to my parents, and I said, hey, what do you think about selling off some of your assets and joining me, and we could build a park. And it took some convincing, but I got them on board, and then we kind of went from there and designed a park. Basically, the concept of the park is, there's a lot of big parks around us, Universal, Disneyland, Knott's Berry Farm, and basically those bigger parks kind of cater to all age ranges. But we wanted to create a park that's basically taking the kind of the area where families would take the smaller kids and build a park around that. So Knott's has their Camp Snoopy, and Disneyland has, Fantasyland, where they have the rides that are more for smaller children. We basically built a park around that.
All right. Well, quite a little history for it. And how close are you to the those big three that you were talking about? You said you're located around that.
Right. So Adventure City is located 2 miles south of Knott's Berry Farm and 4 miles west of Disneyland.
All right. So pretty much right there in the a hop, skip, and a jump.
Right in the middle of everything. Yeah. But and we know that there's a lot of competition for entertainment in this area, and we know that families are going to go to Knott's and they're going to go to Disneyland, but the ticket prices continue to rise, and basically because we're a smaller park, we could charge a smaller admission. We're still a pay one price like the bigger parks. So you pay your admission, and basically it includes all the rides, and but at a fraction of the bigger parks. We like to say that a family of 4 can get in our park for less than the price of one ticket at Disneyland. And obviously we're a lot smaller, but families with young kids, these kids don't last more than 4 or 5 hours before conking out, and so a lot of people enjoy coming to our park because it is a 3 or 4 hour visit versus an all-day visit at Disneyland.
Yes, and I think it's less than the price of parking at Disneyland.
Yes, the parking. Yeah, we have free parking here. Yes, so you save on parking as well.
Alrighty, now before we get into Rerun Racers, which is sort of the big reason we're having you on the show, what are some of the other most popular parts of Adventure City as it is now?
Well, obviously, the other roller coaster we have is a Miler coaster built for us, and he custom built the ride for us. We had one of the pieces of property we purchased had a giant pepper tree on it, and we wanted to preserve that tree, so we basically had him design the ride to go up and through the tree. which
Cool.
is kind of a fun feature, and kids really enjoy that ride. So anything coaster related, anything wild. We have a drop zone ride, which is a Moser spring ride. It's about 50 feet tall. So kids really enjoy that ride, and even young kids like to push the boundaries of what they can ride on, for sure. So
Now,
basically, the fast rides, and then of course the train, which goes around the whole park. Everybody loves the train ride.
now, is it the same train that started it all?
Yes, we have the original train. Yes.
Very cool. Now, a lot of our super nerdy roller coaster fans out there would kill me if I didn't ask, are adults allowed on the kids roller coaster? Because it's something
Yes.
that comes up in the culture here.
Yes, adults are allowed on the kids coaster. That's correct.
Can you put like two adults together in the same row, or do they have to sit separately?
They would, if adults are riding, they would have to ride in separate cars.
Which
You
makes
could
it
ride two people per car, but it's basically either two kids or one adult and one child, or one adult.
very cool. Now, I'm guessing this Rewind Racers project has been in the works for quite some time, because
Yes.
it's replacing what was your old marquee attraction with the Wild Mouse coaster, right?
That's correct. Yeah, we purchased the that actually is also a Myler coaster, but it wasn't Fred Myler's ride. It was his father's ride from Myler Manufacturing. So that was built in maybe the late 50s, and we found that ride in a traveling carnival in Australia. And so we brought it over here and restored it and added some computerized controls to it, because everything on it was manual, and built it up and placed it in operation. We ran it for about 15 years here, and then retired the ride.
And it had some kind of like neat theming elements on the cars, didn't it? I think I remember seeing pictures of this ride.
Yeah, the rides they're kind of like soapbox racer cars, looking like they were, like a kid put them together. So yeah, we had special molds made to build the cars. And in fact, after we took the ride down, we saved the cars, and a couple of them went to, I believe, the Roller Coaster History Museum.
Very cool. We have some friends over there that are helping run that place. So that's very, very cool.
Yeah, so we were excited to be able to provide those to them.
I could be wrong about this, but was your park featured on that TV show that the group had to get the 70 roller coasters in California in one shot?
Right.
And I believe you
Yes.
guys pushed them around in strollers.
Yeah, they were like little taxi cars. So like for our birthday parties, there's like these pushable taxis that the kids ride in to go into the birthday party, have their party. So we thought it'd be fun if we greeted them at the gate with these cars and set them in there and put their seatbelts on, and then push them over to the coaster to ride the ride. So yeah, that was a fun day.
It's amazing to me. I remember nothing about the show except for your park pushing them around in those taxi things. So you obviously have created a memory in my mind, and I'm expecting the same service when I come visiting.
Okay, sure.
All
We're
right,
gonna have to book a party though. That's part of the party package. I mean, you just can't walk in and get one of those.
That'll be your when you finally graduate, Drew. That'll be your graduation present. We'll throw you a good party over there. All right, now how long has the Rewind Racers project been in the works, and how to get started?
I think I started planning it back in 2011, maybe 2012. We were looking at different manufacturers of rides. We wanted a new coaster, and we wanted something unique, and it was either a spinning coaster. There's a lot of those out there, but we have a lot of rides that spin, and we thought, I don't know if we want something else that spins as well. So then I found Gerstlauer and their forwards and backwards coaster, and I thought that would be unique, because if they could build us a family coaster that goes in reverse, that would definitely be unique to California.
Yeah, I mean it's something that got our attention when the concept art first came out last year. We're like, whoa, what is this thing?
Yeah. We're excited to work on this project, and we worked really closely with them to get the ride to fit in our area because the park is very tight, and I've spoken with many different manufacturers that that had it was very difficult for them to try to fit it into our area. So but after back and forth with these guys 5 or 6 times of redrawing and redoing, we're able to get it right. And basically, to get to the ride, you're walking under the ride. The ride goes over our train ride, and so it had to fit in between and over and under basically a lot of different things that we already had. So it was nice to see that the finished product worked out great.
And I could tell it's something very unique. Is this something that Gerstlauer has out in the marketplace already, or is this the first of its kind?
Well, it's yes and no. I mean, Gerstlauer started out, they had a park in Germany where they had this particular model or a version of it. In the case of that, it was a slightly different layout, but it basically did the same thing, where it goes backwards up the lift, straight, flattens out, goes forward, goes around the course, and then flattens out again, and then goes backwards, back to the station. So they have one in Germany that's a shuttle coaster. They have one in France at the OK Corral that is kind of like a shuttle coaster, but it is a complete loop, because they run that one the first time around, they run it as a complete loop, and then the second time around, they kind of stop at the loop and then go backwards.
Very cool. Now, talk about the guest experience, because it's something that if you've seen the concept art, you'll get it. It's a little hard to describe on the air, but it's sort of like you're going on a boomerang coaster that we've seen around the country, but instead of just staying straight up, you flatten out and plateau, and then I guess you take a little bit of a launch, or how's it going to work?
Well, that's kind of a unique feature to Gerstlauer, because they're able to take the car to the top and then flatten it out, and that's why we're able to add a structure at the top of the ride so we can have some themed elements that take place before it launches. So basically it goes up to the top, pulls backwards up to the top, flattens out. Then there's some themed elements that take place before the ride goes. It is gravity. So basically when it gets to the top, it has some drive wheels that kind of hold it in place. Technically it's not launching. It's the drive wheels, the friction wheels will move the car forward basically to go over the edge. So then it's, goes around the course. There's some friction wheels on the backside that get it into position back into the lift house, because the lift house station basically is, when the ride goes backwards up the lift, stops in the lift house, and when it goes around to the point where it's going to go backwards, it's basically in the same lift house on side-by-side track.
Very cool.
We were able to get a double use out of the top of the track.
And how tall of a ride is it?
The ride stands 40 feet tall at the top of the lift, and it's got about 600 feet of track. But the good thing about it is you get to utilize that track forwards and backwards, so that's kind of fun.
And do we know how fast approximately it's going to reach during the ride?
I think, obviously because it is a ride designed for kids, we don't want it to go too fast. I believe it's somewhere in between 25 and 30 miles an hour. So it's a zippy ride, but because we have really what's going to make it a zippy ride is the fact that all of our turns are really tight, because we just don't have the space to do long sweeping turns. But you don't need the speed as much as well to make those turns feel like turns.
No, and one last question I had as far as technical details go is how many people are going to be on each train?
The train has 7 cars, So 2 per car, so it's 14 people per train. And the nice thing about it is the minimum height requirement for the ride for a child riding with an adult is 39 inches. So it's about like a 4-year-old child could ride with mom and dad. So that's kind of fun because, we like to keep our rides, accessible to as many people as possible since we're dealing with families with young kids. So we want to try to make it inclusive as much as possible.
Very cool. Now, I know we had to push our interview back a little bit today because you were out with some inspectors, I guess.
Yes.
And now, where are we at as far as the construction process and timeline goes on this ride?
Right. We're getting down to we're probably in a 4-week range of completing the ride. Then we'll meet with the state inspectors for California, and we'll and some third-party inspectors that we're required to do, and then go over the ride, and then from there we'll work out the details of when our grand opening will be. But I'm sure we'll be ready to roll by about mid-April.
Very cool. Well, we'll have to send Braden out there once you guys do get open. He's our West Coast guy, and he's a video wizard. So we're definitely gonna have to send him out there when it does indeed open up.
Yeah, sounds good.
I mean, the ride looks really cool. I think he walked by from the street and took some pictures and video for us, and it definitely looks like something I'm gonna check out when I come to California. And I'm gonna book a birthday party now.
Right. Yeah. Get that taxi ride.
Very cool. Well, definitely congratulations on Rewind Racers. It looks like a really cool, unique ride.
Thank you. It's definitely our largest investment and our biggest project we've ever done.
And I'm sure it'll be a relief to you when that's finished as well, especially something that's been in the works for 4 years. Jeez.
Yep. Yeah, and I work out there every day. We're hands-on, because we're a small park. We don't have teams of people. It's basically, a handful of us that are doing all the work. So it's a lot of hard work, but there's a lot of satisfaction at the end of the line.
Very cool. Drew, do you have anything else for our guest here?
If they want to find out more information about the new roller coaster or Adventure City the park, where should we send them?
Well, our website is adventurecity.com, very simple, and we'll have updated information as soon as we get closer to when the ride will be open as to a grand opening date.
Very cool. Now, Alan, I've got one last question to close on, and it's kind of a doozy. Just to give you a heads up. As somebody that's been running their own amusement park since the age of 27,
yes.
What have been some of your greatest lessons you've learned since then?
Well, it's, you think that you can just jump into the amusement park business and, put in some rides and open the gates and, ring the cash register. But, the one thing I've learned is that basically running a small park is no different than running a big park. It's very labor intensive. It requires managers in all departments. It requires a lot of government relations, and there's a lot of technical things that go into it. I mean, there's just a vast amount of work from all angles that it requires to operate a park. So that part was, not that it was unexpected, but it was just, it requires a lot of detail to run. So that's kind of what I learned over the years, but, it was kind of trial by fire and, learned as we went, and but it's been a fun experience along the way. We've had a lot of fun doing it.
Very cool. Well, Alan, we want to thank you for coming on the show. Good luck with the rest of the final chapter here and getting the roller coaster open. We're definitely going to have to send Braden out there when it does get open. And I want to thank you very, very much for coming on in the loop.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.